Hey everybody, welcome to KimmelsIrishPub.com. Yes, time for another fantastic movie review. If you'd like me to change anything, like about the opening, I'd love to hear comments and what I could do better, if there's anything a little bit more entertaining, or you just want me to get right into it, right? That's probably what I think. So, Gangsterland is the movie tonight. DirecTV. It's not on Rotten Tomatoes yet. It's at 4.5 on IMDb, but only 132 views. So this will be 133, or at least reviews, I should say. So basically, it's about gangsters, Al Capone and a gang, but it's through the eyes of his second in command, which is Machine Gun Jack. So we'll see what it's like here. Sean Ferris, I think you might have heard of. Jason Patrick, we've all seen. Speed 2. Jamie Lynn Sigler, she was on Entourage for a little bit, and she has a lot of history with mobsters and gangsters, more mobsters than gangsters, because she played in The Sopranos. That's where she came out. And Peter Fasilini, I don't know how to say his name, but I think I recognize him from a couple of different movies. Anyway, brief synopsis. I'm going to get into it here a little bit. I'll check back in and let you know how it's going. Alright? See you in a little bit. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in here. We're watching Gangsterland, and we're at the 51 minute and 20 second mark. The movie's only an hour and 28 minutes long, so I want to do a quick check-in. First, before we get into the synopsis of the movie, that Peter Fancilli, I think you pronounce it. Sorry if I'm doing it wrong. He is from the Twilight series. He was the dad of the vampires. That's where I recognize him from. And Sean Ferris, so he's in one movie, Forever Young. Probably haven't heard of that. He's a troublemaker rugby player, and he gets sent away or something like that. I saw that one. That one was pretty good. But he's also in a movie called Never Back Down. So Never Back Down is a fight movie. And evidently this kid's probably good at fighting because he plays Machine Gun Jack, who's actually a boxer. More on that in a second. But Never Back Down is there's a popular scene. If you're into YouTube and you see that one scene where, and they say it's a real thing, they say it's a Marine versus a kickboxer or something like that, or whatever. They show this group of people around this little ring, made-up ring kind of thing, and this guy's doing all these flips and background kicks and all this kind of moves and stuff like that, and then the guy walks up and just knocks him out one punch. So they claim on YouTube that that's real, and it's a Marine versus somebody like that. That's not true. It's from that movie, so a little connection there. If you've ever seen that clip, it's from, it wasn't Sean Ferris, it was the other actor in that movie, but that's the movie, Never Back Down. Okay, back to this movie. I know, I'm just giving you trivia, some useless knowledge that you can share with all your friends. But this movie, the acting isn't great. The dialogue is kind of terrible. But I guess the story has me very interested. So I like these kinds of stories. I don't know if you've ever seen Mobsters, I think it's called, with McDreamy, Patrick, whatever his last name is, I can never remember it now. So that's a really good one. Check that out. I won't get into that real quick because now I can't remember the actors' names. But it's a mobster movie, and this one's about Al Capone and how Al Capone becomes the leader, the head gangster in like all of Chicago or whatever. And so I find it interesting. There's a lot of little things that I didn't know. Because I always just envisioned him as being the head gangster. But he had a boss before that who resigns, evidently, and that's how he comes to power. And he chooses Machine Gun Jack as his first lieutenant. But they're still battling the Irish, so it was always during Prohibition, the Italians versus the Irish, and so that's the battle that's going on now for all of Chicago, the South Side versus the North Side kind of stuff, and the Irish versus the Italians. So, that I'm enjoying it. I find it interesting, but again, for those who really need to have the good dialogue and the great acting and cinematography and all that stuff, that's not in this one. Not, the film isn't poorly shot. It's shot okay. I mean, it's not like a B film, really poor cameras. But you know, it's a little quick pace too. You know, an hour and 28 minutes. They got to go through this whole thing, so they're jumping around a little bit. But again, it's not bothering me. It's keeping me intrigued and interested in the movie. So I'm enjoying it so far. One piece of information that I never knew this, and you know, probably don't pay enough attention in school, or didn't pay enough attention in school. So Prohibition, how did it come about? Well, the one theory in here is it was from Rockefeller. So Rockefeller, you could either run cars on gas or on alcohol, and Rockefeller was manufacturing fuel or gas. And so he bribed Congress, evidently, this is the theory, to halt production on alcohol and create prohibition so that he could become rich. I don't know if that's true. Maybe everybody's probably like, duh. But for me, I thought that was interesting. So I'm going to get back to it here a little bit. I'm giving you a lot of good knowledge. But I'll get back to the movie and probably stop in at the credits and give you my final synopsis. Alright, thanks. See you in a little bit. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Gangsterland. Real quick, I was talking about mobsters, and it's Christian Slater, the name I couldn't remember. He's in it. And it's not about Al Capone, it's about Lucky Luciano and Maya Lansky and that group. Still, really good movie. Check it out. A lot better than this one. This one's more about Al Capone, and everything else continued to stay, you know, the same. I mean, the story is very interesting. You know, a little off pace, I would say. You know, a little rushed, I think. The acting, was okay. I think Sean Ferris did a good job. Kind of reminded me of Casey Affleck, I think, in this one. But other than that, I guess Jamie Lynn Sigler, she was the love interest who they ended up getting married, but I guess her acting was okay. Everybody else, it was not great acting. Again, the dialogue was not great. Overall, I still thought it was interesting. You know, they crammed a lot in that hour and a half, which made it off pace, but enough to, I'm going to give it a 6. Oddly enough, as I was watching this and I went back to IMDb, the ratings went down to 4.4. So other people are watching it ahead of time. But we beat Rotten Tomatoes again, so that's great. And we're in. I don't think it's a 4. It's close to a 5. But again, it was interesting enough to give it a 6. So it ends up being around the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which I've seen many stories about. But this is about, you know, how Machine Gun Jack takes out a bunch of the Irish mob on St. Valentine's Day. Hopefully I said that right, yeah, St. Valentine's Day. But, you know, the war continues on, and I don't want to ruin it for you if you're going to watch it. So I'm not going to do any spoiler alerts. I think I've said everything that you need to know in order to make a decision on whether you want to watch this movie or not. If you like gangster movies, especially, you know, the old timers, back in the 1920s and 30s, this one's worth watching. I think so. Again, short film, not that long, and if you enjoy those kinds of things, now you know what to expect. You know you're not going to get any Oscar-winning film here, but it's entertaining. It's about Al Capone and the gang, and it's also a different perspective. It's more from, like I said, Machine Gun Jack's view, and not so much Al Capone's. So that's it. Don't want to belabor this any longer. I think you have enough information to be dangerous. But again, I really appreciate any comments, anything, whether it's about my review, about the way that I deliver my review, the opening, the shirt that I wear, the way I do my hair. It's only can be done one way. But those types of things, love to hear from you. I'd appreciate it. I'll keep doing this as long as you keep watching. Alright, thanks. Kimmel'sIrishPub.com